Welcome to episode 61 of the Arctic Crafts podcast. My name is Bente and I'm coming to you from Vesterålen, northern Norway, where I live with my husband and 3 cats. You can find me on Instagram as Arctic Crafts, on Facebook and Etsy as Arctic Crafts by Bente, and on Ravelry as Arctic Crafts 65. I also have a group on Ravelry for this podcast where you can enter make-alongs, potential giveaways, and just chat. I also have a thread for Ask Me Anything. If there's something you want to ask me, some of the questions might not be interesting for everybody, then I'll just answer them in the thread on Ravelry. And I also have a Ko-fi page where you can sponsor the podcast with money for shipping out prices or maybe new equipment for the podcast. It's a beautiful day today. It's cloudy. I like that. And it's actually sort of autumn in the air and I can't wait. I'm not a big summer person, so I'm looking forward to the crisper days of autumn. I can talk quickly about what I'm wearing before I start admin. This is a love note that I knit with short sleeves, and the yarn is my single ply in Plum Jam. The single ply is no longer in my shop. I'm doing a sale to the end of the month for single ply and DK, and the single ply was sold almost immediately. But I still have DK left, so just check my shop for what's on sale. It's my old DK base I'm selling out because I'm now only carrying the DK XR Merino DK with the nylon in it, because that's more versatile because of the nylon. And then we're going into admin. And thank you very much, everybody. I reached 1,000 subscribers. And it turns out I also need 4,000 hours of viewing to be able to control the ad stuff in my videos. So hopefully it will happen at some point this fall. So, but anyway, I reached 1,000 subscribers. I'm doing a giveaway, but I'm going to address that a bit later in the podcast when we're talking about make-alongs. The second admin I wanted to tell you about is that my good friend Sue in Canada, Craftin87, is reopening her Etsy shop. She makes a lot of beautiful bags, and you've seen several of them on this podcast. And she gave me or you a coupon code. The opening, her big opening, is the 29th of August. And for 1 week after the opening, everybody, all my subscribers, get 20% off with the code Arctic20. And I'm going to put that at the bottom of the screen. So that's the 29th of August from then and 1 week. And I'm not sure if I should talk about knitting first or I'll just do the knitting first, because I don't have a lot of knitting to talk about today. I have 2 finished objects. My So Faded is finished. And I've been wearing it a lot because I really love this. It's the first sweater I've knit that is really fitted, and I love that. I have a tendency to knit big baggy sweaters. I think it's a self-confidence issue. This sweater is knit with yarn from 3 different dyers. At the top I have Fiber Lily, an Australian dyer in the colorway Sherbet. Under there I have yarn dyed in Turkey for a big store called Hobby. They have an international web store, hobbii.com. I'll link that below. And at the bottom I have Counter Charm from Corner of Craft Chromatic Yarns. It was a sock set, but I'll just use the mini for something else. So I think this turned out to be a beautiful fade. So I have plenty left, especially of that color, so I'm going to knit myself socks in sherbet with heels, toes and cuffs in Counter Charm. So that's my first finished object. My second finished object has been on the needles for a long time. I finally finished them. These are my cozy knitter socks, and the colorway is Hygge, and I of course had to get that yarn. So these are for me, and as you can tell I haven't blocked them because I never block socks that are for me. They block on my feet. So this is kind of a plumper yarn, so I'm going to start wearing these until it gets a bit colder. So those are my only FOs. And as I said, I've been busy, kind of, because I've done a lot of dyeing, and most of it secret. Because I've been dyeing up the Advents and the Christmas Eve cast-ons. By the way, I have one Christmas Eve cast-on kit left, and that's going to appear in the shop later on in the fall. I'll of course let you know when. And so that's my FOs and my whips. I got rid of one whip. I frogged an almost finished sweater. I'm not sure if you remember, I was knitting the Boltian by Caitlin Hunter, and I was almost finished with it. I was at the bottom of the body and practically only had the ribbing at the end of the sleeves left, and I tried it on, and it turns out it was kind of a typical Caitlin Hunter sweater, because it's more a swan show than a sweater. So when I raised my arms, the ribbing ended up across my girls, to use that word. So I just couldn't wear that sweater. So I just frogged it because the color of that yarn was so beautiful. I decided I'm just frogging it right away, and I'll use the yarn for something else. So so I'll be looking for maybe a one color fingering sweater, or I probably have stuff in stash I can use for a contrast color if I decide to knit a patterned sweater. I've been looking at the Peperomia that Crafty Knitter 7 just cast on because it's so beautiful. Then I'm going to need and use the yarn from the Boltian for the main color, and maybe use undyed as the contrast color. I'll see, but I have plenty of sweaters on the needles already, and I have cast on one new one since I last spoke to you, and I've swatched for another. So let's start talking about whips. I'll do my sock whip first, and then we'll look at the sweaters. And my sock whip, these are actually for Sue, Crafty Knitter 7, because I bought this yarn thinking of her, because I decided I wanted to knit her socks in this yarn, and it's because of the color. This is So Sue, this color, and it's the Regia Premium Merino Yak. And this is kind of a plump yarn, so I'm using needles, 2.5 needles for this. And this is the Mr. Lockwood socks by rhyFlower Knits, or Melinda Meeser. It's from her Night at the Movies sock club that Sue bought for me. So it's just appropriate that I knit her a pair of socks from that sock club. And the Progress Keeper is a Canadian maple leaf. Of course, since the designer is Canadian, and the recipient is Canadian. It just figured. I started knitting these. These are toe up. I decided to knit a pair of socks toe up, patterned socks, because Melinda's patterns, all of them have both the toe up and the cuff down instructions. So they're perfect for anybody knitting socks, whether you're used to the cuff down or the toe up. This is the first time I'm knitting one of her patterns toe up. I started using 2.5 millimeters fixed circulars and magic loop, but the singing needles, the join between the cable and the needle, I struggled sliding the stitches over it. It was just annoying, so I switched out that for my flexi flips, or crazy trio as they're called in Europe. These are not my favorite needles, but I decided I couldn't start using DPNs on this when I've started magic loop. I'm afraid my gauge will change too much, so this was the closest I got to magic loop without messing with my gauge. So I'm going to finish this sock on these and maybe knit the second sock on DPNs, because I don't think there will be that much of a difference, so it will show from one sock to the next. I might start using DPNs already on this, because I'm not too fond of these. So we'll see. But those are going in her Christmas box, so I'm not in a hurry. So those are my palette cleanser when I'm sick and tired of my sweaters. The first sweater whip I'm showing you is the one that's I've gotten the furthest on. It's in this bag by Sue, Crafting 87. These sweater bags won't be in her shop when she reopens it at the end of the month, but they are going to show up in her shop sometime this fall. And the yarn was also a present from Sue. It's Roots and Rain. She bought this yarn for herself, but she thought they had a pink hue and she doesn't like pink, so she decided to send it to me. It's the Field Sock, proudly Canadian sport weight, and it's very, very woolly. So I hope it's going to soften up a bit with soaking. But I'm knitting, this is an oversized, not oversized, it's got a lot of positive ease. So it won't be a problem using it as outerwear, and that's what I usually do with warm sweaters. I use them instead of a jacket. And this is how far I've gotten. I have started the yoke in the front. And this progress keeper is also from Canada. It's also from Sue, and it's a bowl of poutine. And it's so weird knitting with this kind of yarn, because I knit a lot of with this kind of yarn when I grew up. This was sort of the type of yarn we used for sweaters. But I've gotten so used to superwash merino, so this feels almost weird to knit with. I have a slight tail of wool with this sweater, because my gauge was much looser than the one in the pattern, so I think I'm knitting the size 3, and everything is going perfectly until I started with the yoke. I wasn't thinking, basically. So I was taking the measurements for the armhole, and I used the numbers for size 3, which of course is not a big enough sleeve opening for me, because I'm not a size 3 or the corresponding cloth size. So I had done the shoulder shaping, and I started on the ribbing on the top. And then I realized, wait a minute, these sleeve openings aren't big enough for me. So it said to knit, I think it was about 11 centimeters. I think I'm going to need 5 centimeters more to get a big enough sleeve opening. And I'm hoping I won't run out of yarn, because this is what I have left of my 2 first skeins. I'm going to have to dip into the second 2 skeins before I finish the front yoke, and then I have the back yoke to do and 2 sleeves. So I must say, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide what I have left when I finish the back yoke. I'm going to divide that into 2, and then the sleeves will be as long as they. I hope I'm going to get at least bracelet length, because if I'm going to use it for outerwear, I need to have long sleeves. So we'll see. Hopefully I'm not going to run out of yarn. So that's my weekender, and this is the project that's beside me on the couch, because I have swatched for another sweater and I'm trying desperately not to start it before I finish this, and I almost got almost threw this in the naughty corner when I discovered the thing about the sleeve openings, but then I realized I was never going to finish it if I didn't do it now. So then I'll show you the swatch and tell you about my plans for this. This is also from Sue. It's the same bag but a different fabric. I love this fabric. As you can tell, it's inspired by Van Gogh's Starry Sky and the TARDIS. And the thing I'm going to show you now basically should be, I should show you this in show and tell later on, but because I've already started using the yarn, I'm showing you now. I got this from Hedgehog Fibers 3 days ago, and yesterday I swatched because I really wanted to try this yarn. It's their Tweedy, and it's not dyed, it's natural with tweed. What you call these in English? Nups. And it's 50% of Falkland Merino wool, 37.5 recycled wool, and 12.5 Hedgehog Fibers thread waste. And that's what makes it so colorful and fun, because they use their own snippets of thread to make a tweed yarn. And they also collect scrap yarn and thread waste from their customers. So if you have a kilo or 2 of scrap yarn to donate to them making the Tweedy, you actually get a gift card for Hedgehog Fibers. I think that's fun. So I bought this, and because of all the fun colors, I decided I had to knit a patterned sweater to make these colors pop. And I searched for DK, and I went to Jennifer Steingass's Ravelry shop because I love her patterns. And she had a beautiful sweater called Forestland that I'll of course put a picture up. And let's see if I have because the other yarn I'm using, I only had the one skein, so I have to show it to you in the cake. This skein of yarn I bought in Brighton at the Yak shop. It stands for Yarn and Knitting. I think it's so much fun that they use the name Yak. So this is Malabrigo Rios. I have the tag here. It's a Malabrigo Rios, and it's the colorway, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. That's the colorway. And the swatch, I had to swatch the pattern because the Rios is a worsted and the other yarn is a DK. So I had to swatch the pattern to see if I could use them together. And I decided I can. You can feel there's a tiny difference in thickness between the pattern and the main color, but it's going to work, I think. So, and I'm bang on gauge, by the way. And that's the thing about Steingass, I'm often bang on gauge with her. So this is going to become the Forestland sweater, and I'll try not to start that until I'm finished with the weekender. We'll see if I can do that. So that's my knitting. I have another pair of socks on the needles, but I'm not knitting a lot. What am I saying? I have lots of things on the needles. I have a couple of pairs of socks that I haven't shown you. 2 sweaters on the needles. I think there's 2, maybe there's 3 that I haven't shown you because I'm not working on them. So I have a lot of whips. So you might understand why I don't want to start the Forestland until I'm finished with the weekender. So that's the knitting. And now we'll talk giveaway and we'll talk make-alongs. The giveaway is for the 1,000 subscribers. I passed the magic 1,000 mark and I'm going to do a giveaway. I'll show you the prices first. I've shown you these before, but I'll show you again. It's this petite knit tote bag, and it's a skein of Fjord from Hillesvåg in this gorgeous pink, and it's a skein of Kauni in the rainbow colorway. This is a rainbow. You can't tell from this side, but it's a rainbow. And you have this really blingy measuring tape, and I'll of course throw in progress keepers from my own shop into this. So that's what I'm giving away. And the prompt is, you have to have a prompt for you to give away. And the prompt is, I want to know something nice that happened this summer. No need to get personal if you don't want to. Just let me know if you went somewhere nice, or if, because most of us had staycations this year, I think. And there the sun is breaking through the clouds, so the light changes. It's typical. So just something nice that happened this summer. It could be anything from you trying a new ice cream flavor to going somewhere nice. If you were able to visit family, even though we have a pandemic, anything like that. In the comment section below, and I'll be drawing a winner the night before my next episode. So you have 2 weeks, and I'll announce the winner in my next episode. So that's the giveaway for the 1,000 subscribers. And we only have, what is the date? It's actually Friday the 13th. So there's 18 days left to entering the Arctic Summer of Socks make-along, because that ends August 31st, and everything that's been entered in the thread on Ravelry is also being part of this grand prize drawing in August. So there's still time to enter, and I'm going to show you the prices for the last prize drawing at the end of August. We'll start with the Instagram prize. The hashtag on Instagram is Arctic Summer of Socks Mal, and this snap bag from Crafty Knitter 7 is the Instagram prize. I thought this was appropriate because we're going into fall, and this is coffee themed, and that's the Instagram prize. So hashtag Arctic Summer of Socks make-along, or MAL, is the Instagram hashtag. So that's going to be drawn from the Instagram hashtag, and I have 3 prizes to draw from the Ravelry thread. The first is this skein of yarn from Comfy Cozy Knits. Try to focus on the tag, the Comfy Cozy Knits. And the colorway is Deepest Desires. That's one of the prizes. The second prize is this Dip and Mix mini Skein bag from Kate Celine with loads of different colors. That's the second prize. And the third prize is this bag, beautiful bag with butterflies, with a matching notions pouch from the Tangled Stitch Shop on Etsy. And so those are the prizes for the grand prize drawing at the end of August for the Arctic Summer of Socks. And September 1st I'm starting another make along, letting you know so you can start planning for it. And it's the Spooky Mal. It starts September 1st. And I have started to I have the two first prizes for that make along already, because Sue donated 2 bags from her own stash. So these aren't bags made by Sue, they're just donated by Sue. It's two, I think you can call these sweater bags. It's this one and this one. So both of these are prizes for the Spooky Mal. That starts the 1st of September and ends October 31st. And depending on how many prizes I get, I might be doing one prize drawing at the end of September as well. We'll see. I might just do one big one at the end of October, depending on how many people enter, but I think hopefully there's going to be a lot of entries. And the rules for that one is really easy. It has to be either a pattern with a Halloween theme, a colorway with a Halloween theme, or you're knitting something Halloween themed, a decoration. So if you knit pumpkins or some ornament or something that's Halloween themed. So that's going to be the Spooky Mal. I'm also doing a Mal from the beginning of November, which we'll talk about that at a later date. So that was what I had for giveaways and make-alongs. And let's see if I have something else to talk about before I start with show and tell. No, I haven't. So I'll just start show and tell. As I showed you the bags that Sue donated for the make-along, of course when she sent those bags, she didn't just send the bags. She had to say something more. She sent me a skein of yarn. First I thought that this was a donation as well, but she told me, no, yarn is for you. And it's self-striping from Comfy Cozy Knits, and it's called Spring Flowers. And these colors are really me, pastel, but I'm going to put this to one side and I'm going to knit something with it for next spring. And I sent Sue some commercial sock yarn, because she bought an old sock knitting machine and she fixed it up, and now she started using it, and I sent her some commercial sock yarn, and now I have my very own sock snakes. All of these, this is yarn I bought and sent her, and I can't wait to try this, because I've never tried making socks from sock snakes before. But these sock snakes, I figure they are long enough for me to make 2 pairs of socks, for both for me and for hubby, because at least this one. But hubby has no problem wearing pink socks, so I think I'm going to make 2 pairs, because neither of us like long socks. So he wants about that much of a leg on a sock, and I can wear shorties. So 2 pairs of socks it is. And I'm going to use the my good friend Chevyrell, or Chevas, from Chevyrell Stuff, has made a pattern of sorts. It's more like a formula for deciding where to cut when you make from a snake. You can find that on Ravelry. I'll link that one below as well. So that's really genius, because I've never done this before, and there's actually a what you call them, worksheet, where you just put in the numbers, what size shoe, or what size feet, how long you want the cuff, how long you, or you could just put all these numbers in and it tells you where to cut the snake. Brilliant. So I'm going to use that one. So that's what arrived from Sue this time, at least that I can show you, because the rest wasn't fiber related. So and there's one thing left to show you, and that's my shop update. The first I'm going to show you, self-striping was really labor intensive, but it was also fun. So I dyed up some, just checking if something fell on the floor. So I've dyed up some more self-striping. And this is for Halloween. Maybe you can see the colors better in this skein. So this is for Halloween. And that yellow, that green on camera is so difficult, because this green is neon. It's a neon green, and the colorway name is Lock, Shock and Barrel. And for those who haven't seen Nightmare Before Christmas, but I think most people have seen that film. That's the names for the three brats that go out to kidnap Santa Claus, as they call him. So that's Lock, Shock and Barrel. There were 3 colors, 3 names. I'm really new at the self-striping thing, so my technique isn't perfect, and I probably never will be, I think, because I'm not going to do this regularly. But I have plans for a couple of more colorways, so there will be more self-striping. I dyed up 4 of these, so those will be going into the shop on Sunday, 8 p.m. Central European Standard. Summertime. It's still summertime. So that's there's not a lot going into the shop on Sunday, again because I've dyed up Advents and Christmas Eve cast-ons, and I can't of course not show you those because those are surprises. So I've also dyed up, I just have to pick up something that fell on the floor. I've dyed up another colorway on Suri Silk Cloud, and again this is Guacamole, and it's much brighter green than it looks on screen. So that's Guacamole on Suri Silk Cloud, and I dyed up some Blood Orange, and this is on Corriedale. I think this was on Corriedale. I'll have to check my notes. It could be Polldale. I'll have to check my notes and I'll write it down below, because I always do put down below what kind of base it is. This is so stupid that I don't remember my own bases. That says something about how stressed out I've been lately. But again, it will be down below what the base is. And I've dyed up some Chaotic Good on BFL. I had some jars of dye stock to clean, so Chaotic Good on BFL. And I've dyed up some Zebra Sock. This is Headless Flamingo, and I was looking at this and thinking maybe it's not headless when I dye it up on zebra, because you have the black on this. But anyway, the colorway is Headless Flamingo. So that's also going into the shop. And then I have a brand new semi-solid, and it's this one. I was going for pumpkin something, but I realized when I started looking at names that pumpkin spice latte, pumpkin pie, pumpkin patch, all those names were really, really popular. So I wanted to use something different. Besides, I love this color so much, I don't want it to be just for Halloween. And my good friend Sue suggested cinnamon toast, and I really love that name because this is a cinnamony color. So cinnamon toast, and it's only on zebra sock. For now, I think I'm going to dye up some Surya Silk Cloud and some 100% Merino in cinnamon toast for my next update. And of course, the same goes for this colorway as for all my colorways, or almost all my colorways. Just contact me if you want enough for a sweater, because all my sweater quantities are custom orders, because I have a limited storage space, so I only dye up 2 or maybe 3 skeins of each colorway to put in the shop, and if somebody needs more than that, they have to contact me and I'll do a custom order. It doesn't take too long because I always drop everything to do a custom order, to put it like that. So I would say it takes about a week from you order the custom order until it's shipped. I can't guarantee that. Depends, of course, of how busy I am, but basically about a week, maybe 2. So that's the thing to consider. If you really like one of my colorways and would like a sweater in it, just contact me. I have loads of different bases as well you can order it on. So that was the shop update. And live stuff, there's not a lot to tell, because we've basically been staying at home more or less all summer, but also for the last 2 weeks. We're actually going out for dinner tomorrow. One of the local pubs they are hiring an Italian pizza baker every other weekend, so you get proper authentic Italian pizza. We've tried it once and it was amazing, so we're going back there tomorrow evening so hubby is taking me out on a dinner date basically. So really looking forward to that. And then there's nothing more exciting happening. So it might sound boring, but this is the way we like it. We are thrilled that we're getting back to our normal schedule. He goes to work in the morning, I dye yarn. We don't have to have lots of exciting things happening, because we're introverts, both of us, and we are really, really happy when we can stay home as much as possible. So me working from home, that's perfect. So I keep saying so maybe that's a sign that I should just stop doing this and do something different. Maybe make myself some lunch. We'll see. And I'll see you again in 2 weeks. And maybe before that on Instagram, we'll see what maybe something exciting does happen. You never know. Anyway, I'll be back in 2 weeks. And I hope you have a great weekend. And remember my shop update, Sunday, 8 p.m. Central European Summertime.